I mean, these are the first television cameras we had put on us, I think. And the first thing we wanted to do when put in a situation like this was just like, okay, how could we destroy this?
Nirvana released what would become their breakthrough album in September of 1991. That, of course, was Nevermind. Then all the touring behind the album would begin. The band started off with a North American tour throughout the rest of September and October. And then we come to November of 1991, and this is where Nirvana began their European tour. The band hadn't become huge yet, but Nevermind was doing well, and you could certainly feel a change in the air was coming. So Nirvana were on their European tour, and we come to November the 8th of 91, and it was on the UK TV show called The Word, where Nirvana made their first ever appearance playing on live TV. Of course, there would be many more television performances for the band after this, but this was the very first one. Here, former Nirvana drummer Dave Grohl recalls the performance.
I mean, I remember that day.
Do you?
Yeah, I mean, I believe this is our first television performance.
First performance on TV, yeah.
You know, the other funny thing when watching this is like, some people look like they like Nirvana, and some people look like they like CNC Music Factory. So it's kind of this brackish, like, I don't know what's going on.
Yeah.
There's always, you can see the people standing in the back and they're just like, what did I just see? You know, this was all so new to us. Like, I think I was 22 years old or something. But I mean, you have to realize that, you know, the band wasn't receiving this kind of attention in America. It really did begin in the UK first.
The performance was also notable for the way it started off, with Kurt Cobain giving a shout-out of sorts to Courtney Love.
That Courtney Love, the lead singer of the sensational pop group Hole, is the best in the world.
Now, with Kurt Cobain making that statement, I'm sure you all know what he said on the unedited version. It was thought to have quite a bit of significance. You see, it was right at this time that Courtney Love and Billy Corgan's relationship had ended, and Kurt and Courtney had really only just begun seeing one another. But there was also a third party involved, and that was a woman called Mary Lou Lord. She was a busker in New York, and she had met Kurt a couple of months before this, and the two had hit it off, and she thought that there was something good going on between them. So all this was pretty much happening at the exact same time. It was Kurt, he had this thing with Mary Lou, and he also was starting off with Courtney Love. A dilemma, right? Now, as the story goes, Mary Lou Lord had actually flown over to Europe to surprise Kurt. Now, he wasn't expecting this, and at this time, he and Courtney were just seriously starting to get together. And so when she did arrive over to surprise Kurt, she could tell something was different, and it wasn't the same as it had been before between them. So basically now, Kurt had just begun something with Courtney, but hadn't yet told Mary Lou. And it was thought that making this worldwide statement about Courtney Love at the start of this song, with what he said there, would make it pretty clear that Courtney was the one for him. And so Mary Lou was watching the performance by Nirvana on TV, and of course she heard Kurt say that. And then of course she knew what was up. Here is Mary Lou Lord in her own words.
So later that afternoon, I was at a friend's house because I had lived in England. I knew people. So I was at a friend's house because I knew that Nirvana were going to be on this TV show called The Word. It was sort of like a Top of the Pops kind of a show. And I was like, oh, I really want to watch this. Maybe this will give me a clue, whatever.
God.
Oh, my God. So I'm watching it, and on Nirvana come on, and Kurt says before the band starts playing, he said, I just want everyone in this room to know that Courtney Love, the lead singer from the pop group Hole, is the best in the world. And I was just like, oh, what? Like, what? You know, like, first of all, I was like, who the is Courtney Love? And I was more confused than I was heartbroken because I didn't know what this all meant.
Well,
right?
it was a lot to process in the space of a few hours.
And absolutely, right? Because, I mean, I had been with him the night before.
Yeah.
Right? Been with him. So anyway, I had no real reason to be there. So I left like a day or two later. I came back to Boston.
Also, another part of the performance that is notable is the ending, where Kurt would usually finish the song with the line, "a denial." However, here he screams something completely different. I am not even going to try and decipher what exactly he is saying here. Maybe you can do that for yourself. Here it is. So that was the first ever performance by Nirvana on a TV show, playing their hit song, Smells Like Teen Spirit, a song that in later years Kurt would grow tired of. It was their biggest hit, and for some people, the only Nirvana song they wanted to hear sometimes. So Kurt would often give lackluster performances of the song. However, on this night, a great performance, full of energy, sounded very good. So there it is, guys. Thanks heaps for tuning in. Be sure to drop a like down below and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. We'll catch you next time.